Hey y'all, it's your girl Tashondarenae, and I'm back with another video. In today's video, I'm making an absolutely delicious pot roast. So if you would like to see how I do it, please stay tuned. For this recipe, I'm using a beef chuck roast, and it's almost a 3-pound roast. So I'm definitely gonna generously season my meat. I'm going to use garlic powder and onion powder. I'm going to use salt and ground black pepper, coriander, and herbs de Provence. You'll also need some type of oil. I'm using grapeseed oil. Just make sure to use something with a mild flavor. And you're just going to rub a little bit of that on there and then rub the seasoning in. You'll flip your meat over and add all the same seasonings and oil to the opposite side. For this recipe, I'm using my Dutch oven. And right now I do have it on a medium heat just so that the pot is beginning to warm up. And I'm going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of that grapeseed oil to the Dutch oven. Once it's heated up, I'm going to go ahead and add my roast. And I'm going to sear it on both sides for about 5 minutes. You're not looking to completely cook the roast. You just want it to have a nice brown color on both sides. While you're searing your meat, you can go ahead and chop up your vegetables. So I'm using celery, onions, potatoes, and carrots. If you prefer to cut yours down smaller than what I have, that's totally fine. I'm using whole carrots, so I did peel them before I cut them down. As for the carrots and potatoes, you want to be sure to try to get each piece around the same size so that they cook evenly. As for the onion, I'm just going to cut it in half and then into 8 large pieces. The size of the onion really doesn't matter. My potatoes are pretty small, so I'm just cutting those into 4 pieces. Now that I have all my veggies prepared, I'm going to go ahead and check my meat. And it should be perfect because it has been right around 4 or 5 minutes. And it is. So now I'm going to go ahead and add 1 packet of Lipton Onion Soup right on top of the roast. I'm also going to add the same seasonings that I used at the beginning of the video. I'm going to go ahead and add some more of those seasonings to the roast. I'm also going to add some fresh thyme. Now, because I did use the herbs de Provence, I'm not going to add a lot of the fresh thyme because thyme is in the herbs de Provence. But if you don't have it, then you definitely want to add some bay leaf, thyme, basil, and rosemary. If you've never added those seasonings to your pot roast, definitely don't skip it. It's going to take your roast from drab to fab, just trust me. Then you're going to go ahead and add your veggies. You're going to add the onions and celery. You also want to add a couple tablespoons of butter. You're going to add 3 to 4 cups of beef broth and at least 1 cup of water. I have my oven set to 350 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and add the lid on my pot and place it in the oven. Now, every cut of beef is different, so I really can't give a time frame for when your roast is going to be done, but I will say it's going to at least take 2.5 to 3 hours to cook. Sometimes it's going to take a lot longer. It just depends on your cut of beef. At this point, it has cooked for about 3 hours, so I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more packet of the Lipton Onion Soup, as well as the carrots and potatoes. And I'm going to place it back in the oven until the carrots and potatoes are done. So that took about another 30 minutes. Once it was done, I did remove it from the oven, and then I removed everything from the pot except for the juices. Now I'm going to thicken that up to make the gravy for the pot roast. You can either use flour or cornstarch to thicken it up. I'm using cornstarch. So I just made a cornstarch slurry. I used 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and 3 tablespoons of water. Mixed that together until it was well combined, and then I added it to my pot. I do have this set to a medium heat, and you just want to whisk it together until your gravy starts to thicken up. If you want yours thicker, you can just add more of a cornstarch slurry until you get the thickness that you do desire. So once the gravy is done, that is pretty much it. And so I'm sure my day ones are kind of wondering why I'm cooking a pot roast. I'm sure you all are saying, but Tashonda, you don't eat beef. And I don't. That's why you see my mom right here testing the gravy to make sure it is to her liking. It's very important to make sure your gravy is to your liking before you pour it on your meat. So that's it, y'all. That's how simple it is to make a delicious pot roast. It's super tender. Everybody wanted the recipe. Everybody said this was the best pot roast they had ever eaten, and I do believe it because before I gave up beef, this is the recipe I always used, and it is absolutely delicious. I do believe you're going to enjoy it if you give it a try. Be sure to check out the description box. I'll have everything I used listed down there. And if you have not already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you be a part of my YouTube family. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.